Right, guys, as some of you might know, the BBC had planned to hunt down the over 75s, chasing them for the licence fee that they should never have been paying. Now it seems they have decided to back off from that idea because obviously it won't be a good look for the Beeb, who in all honesty are hated by most of the country anyway, and largely ignored by the rest of it. At this point, they are the Labour Party of British television, and their presenters, like the virtuous tosspot Gary Lineker, ensure it will forever be known as a left-wing cesspool. Now, apparently, this climb down came about after the BBC sent letters to 4.2 million pensioners demanding they send payment or face £1,000 fines. The BBC at the time was rightly shat on for it by literally everyone from all sides, which I expect has now forced them to back down on this. Let's be honest, they hardly want to give tabloid media another reason to shit on them from a great height over this, while the lunacy that we're living under goes on, so they'll kick the can down the road and come after them later. Likely when people are allowed outside again and not as focused on the news, so I will definitely be keeping an eye on this one. The Telegraph though have picked up on this story, so let's take a quick look at that. The headlines: TV licence amnesty, BBC suspends threat to prosecute over 75s over failure to pay. Broadcaster said amnesty was a response to the pandemic and declined to say how long it would last. Yeah, because as soon as the government opens up and people's minds are elsewhere, they'll literally throw it out there like I said. The BBC has suspended its threat to prosecute over 75s who failed to set up a new television licence following an outcry over the scheme. The corporation said the temporary amnesty was a response to the pandemic and declined to say how long it would last. When the over 75 scheme was introduced last August, the 4.2 million affected households were told they had 2 months to respond to a letter requesting payment. The BBC stated in its TV licensing information, "We will cancel your license if you do not reply to our letter within 2 months of receiving it," and warned that continuing to watch television after that would be a criminal offence carrying a fine of up to £1,000. However, 1 in 6 households, nearly 700,000, have failed to respond. Now the BBC has told them that they are still legally covered and will not be prosecuted. Yeah, because obviously they will be shit on from a great height like I said, and it will cost them an absolute fuck ton trying to get this money back. 700,000 is no small fee. Well done to the 700,000 who refuse to pay these shit cunts. It goes on, the change of policy follows a Telegraph investigation into the scheme, with vulnerable old people reporting that they felt hounded by TV licensing. Lord Botham, the former England cricket captain turned charity campaigner, accused the BBC of institutional bullying and demanded an undertaking from Tim Davie, the BBC's Director General, that the corporation will not prosecute the over 75s. Lord Botham received 2,000 emails protesting the new charge after writing of his concerns in 2 articles in the Telegraph. The corporation announced on Monday that 2.7 million over 75 households have purchased licences since August, and a further 750,000 have applied for free licences under means testing rules. Which is obviously over 3.5 million too many people. They should all be having this shit for free. The BBC should be fronting that for all the years that they've spent funding the bollocks. Goes on, however, take-up of the scheme stalled over winter. In November, 2.6 million households had paid the £157.50 charge, and the numbers rose by just 100,000 in the following 3 months. Yeah, because people have had enough of their biased bullshit and have got other things to pay for while the government continues to tank the economy and fuck with people's lives. It says on Tuesday night the BBC admitted that it had not cancelled a single licence for an over 75 household since the scheme began, despite including the threat in its letters as recently as last month. The BBC said, "In light of ongoing challenges to many of our customers caused by the coronavirus, we're giving older people a bit more time to make arrangements for their next licence. We're writing to customers to reassure them of this." Oh, so you threatened them once before, and when they didn't pay, you send them another letter to reassure them. They are really gonna believe you, ain't they? The BBC are just fucking incredible at this point. The letter explains that customers who previously held a free licence for over 75s up to July 31st, 2020 are still legally covered, and we are giving them the time to either arrange payment for a licence or claim a free one. Campaigners have welcomed the amnesty, but said it further reinforced the need to scrap the charge, something I would actually agree with. Dennis Reed, director of Silver Voices, a group calling for free licence fees to be reinstated for the over 75, said, "This change is news to us. Hundreds of thousands of elderly people have now been given an amnesty until the end of the pandemic, and we hope it gives the BBC and the government the breathing space to rethink this terrible policy." It says the current situation is untenable. They cannot enforce the licence fee on hundreds of thousands of over 75-year-olds who are increasingly determined the more the reminders they get not to pay. We welcome this concession. The policy was a disaster from the start and remains a disaster now, which once again I fully agree with and stand 100% by anyone who refuses to pay the BBC licence. And it finishes up with the BBC making excuses and all that bollocks. I can't even be bothered to read it out. You get the general gist of it. The BBC have backed down because they know it would make them look like a right cunt, which obviously we already think they are. But like I said, they will be back as soon as they can, likely when we're all allowed outside once again. We will have to keep an eye on it then, because no doubt they will come for them when people are not paying attention. This, I'm sure, is what the BBC have done for many years.